Okay, here we go. These are your notes for section 2.3a. And we're getting into some algebra today. So that's exciting. And we're going to learn two things. So this is the first of two videos that you're going to watch. So first we're going to talk about the different parts of a variable expression. So here's a variable expression. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 different parts that you need to know. So the first is terms. And terms are separated by addition signs. Terms are separated by addition signs. So that tells you need addition signs, and if I look closely I see I have subtraction, so I need to make a double sign change where there is a subtraction. So right here I'll make a double sign change. And now I have several terms, and I'm going to circle them. So here's a term, and it's separated from the other term. There's a plus sign in between them. This plus sign separates them. And here's another term, and here's another term, and here's another term. So this particular example has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So in this example there are 5 terms. There are 5 things separated by the plus signs. Okay, next you need to know variables. I think you already know what variables are. Variables are just letters, and these letters represent numbers. So they're letters, but they actually stand for numbers. So they're letters representing numbers. And they're called variables because they can change. They can vary. Sometimes x is 7. Sometimes it's 10. Sometimes it's -2. It varies. That's why they're called variables. They can change. Alright, the next thing. Oh, I'm sorry. In this example up here, in this particular example, there are two variables. There is x and y. So the variables in this problem are x and y. Okay, next, coefficients. Coefficients are numbers. They're numbers that are attached or multiplied. They're attached or multiplied to a variable. They are attached to a variable. They're multiplied to a variable. Alright, so the coefficients. 7's a coefficient because it's attached to x squared. It's right next to it. 8's a coefficient. It's attached, it's multiplied to the xy. 9 is a coefficient because it's being multiplied to the x. -8 is a coefficient because it's right next to the y. 12 is not a coefficient. There's no variables with it. So 12 is something different. So in this particular example, we have 7, 8, 9, and -8 are the coefficients. 7, 8, 9, and -8. They're numbers right next to letters. Numbers that are right next to letters are called coefficients. Coefficients. Big word. Alright, last is how we describe this last number that's all alone. We call that a constant. Constant is a number that's all by itself. A number by itself. It's all alone, no letter next to it, no letter multiplied to it. It's all by itself. It's called a constant because it's not going to change. Since it doesn't have any letters, it's not going to vary. It's not going to change. It's just 12. If I asked everybody in the room what is that number, they would say 12. It's constant. It's not going to change. So it doesn't change. Different than a variable. A variable will change, varies. Constants don't. All right, let's check our understanding. Let's go through this example. So in the example, we have 4x squared plus 5x minus 12. First thing you want to do is take care of that subtraction. Make a double sign change. All right, now you have terms. Remember, terms are separated by plus signs. So all this goes together. That's a term. It's separated by this term because there's a plus sign between them. And then there's this last term. And there are plus signs in between, so the addition separates it. So in this particular problem, we have three terms. If you look closely, the 4 and the 5, the 4 and the 5 are right next to letters, attached to letters multiplied. So the 4 and the 5 are called coefficients. Coefficients, because they're right next to letters. X, well, X is a letter, so that makes X a variable. And then negative 12, well, negative 12 is all alone, no letters next to it, no letters attached or multiplied, so it's all alone. It's never going to change. It's negative 12. That's called a constant. All right, that's it for part 1 of your notes. And then you're going to watch a second video for part 2, or the back side of your paper.